Cello, good morning. Cello, good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Everybody get on up and come on in to the April Showers Network show. This morning, we are talking about President Trump. President-elect Donald Trump wants to send the National Guard to Chicago. Good morning, everyone. This is the April Showers Network, and I want to talk about President-elect Donald J. Trump wants to send the National Guard into Chicago. First thing I want to say is, okay, I don't want to hear release the Epstein files. He's trying to deflect. If he released the Epstein files, what are you people going to do? Okay, because a lot of the former presidents' names are on there, entertainers' names are on there. Are you going to stop supporting them? I mean, it is what it is. I don't really care about the Epstein list. What will people do? I mean, what are y'all gonna do? Half of y'all defend these people. Y'all defend the behavior. You've done nothing to the Catholic priests. So stop saying this is a deflection. Release the Epstein files. What are you going to do if the Epstein files was released? Will you boycott these people? Will you ask for them to be sent to prison? Okay, so moving right along with you hypocrites, with the hypocrites. So nobody's not in here yet. Let me see. Let me do a mic check on another device. Hold on. Hold on. I gotta do a mic check. Let me make sure people can hear me. Hello? Let me make sure. Okay. Alrighty. So, that's the first excuse that people want to make. And I want to make this clear. I don't agree with everything that President-elect, and I say President-elect Donald J. Trump, because y'all elected him. Everybody that voted for him, this is what the United States, the citizens of the United States of America, this was what they wanted. And he told us what he was going to do. And just because I agree, I agree with some of the things, we are never that President-elect Donald J. Trump is doing, especially when it comes to the immigrations. So now, hey Shatika, So now I want to remind y'all. I want to remind y'all what Chicago is about. Okay. I want to remind y'all just what Chicago
When you list on
is about.
apartments.com, renters will start coming out of the woodwork. Just learned that 4 Chicago police officers were hurt while responding to a brawl at a Southside high school today. Investigators also revealing that 5 arrests were made at Inglewood STEM High School on South Normal and 68. Cell phone video shows the chaos that unfolded during that fight, which involved at least 100 students on 3 different floors. We blurred the video because some minors were involved. Parents quickly came to pick their children up. One father says his 15-year-old son got caught up in the fray and was handcuffed while police calmed the crowd.
He said it was a girl fight at first, and then it got so big that everybody started fighting. My daughter had called me and told me it was a huge fight at her school, and they had the building on lockdown, and she could not get dismissed until I come and pick her up.
Police on the scene tell us no weapons were involved. The 4 officers who were hurt were treated at the hospital for minor injuries.
Okay. Now I'm gonna just let you see what's really going on in Chicago.
Actually believe, Anthony, that the rain may have kept a lot of teenagers from returning here today to the AMC Theater, but I will share with you all, there was a successful event held earlier in the day at Navy Pier aimed to provide a safe space for teenagers. This, of course, comes after a lot of unruly behavior taking place here in Streeterville on last night. AMC Theater's Streeterville location loaded with Chicago police. Here's why.
Thought one of these kids was going to get hit by a car or a bus.
Here's just a glimpse of the chaos. 8 p.m. Friday, teenagers storming East Illinois Street. The city estimating 300 teens gathered for about 4 hours. There were fights, a 15-year-old shot in the leg, an 18-year-old also stabbed nearby. Chicago teenagers deserve to enjoy Navy Pier, the city, just like anybody else, but they have to behave.
Absolutely. What they're not welcome to do is break windows, steal from stores, jump on cars, block traffic, intimidate pedestrians, and shoot guns into crowds. That happened last night.
12 people were arrested, including 2 for aggravated assault to a police officer. From spring break opportunities to 29,000 summer jobs coming, even Park District events. The city and its partners have organized more activities to keep teens productive.
Now I just want to remind y'all what's going on in Chicago. And actually, the people that don't live in Chicago, you don't live there, but when Trump says that old black ladies told him that they wanted the National Guard in Chicago, I believe him. Okay? I believe him. Because some of these people cannot get up. They cannot go to church. They have to go to the stores early before some of these people get up and terrorize Chicago. Okay, the residents of Chicago. Now, I want to show you another video. See, these are from people that live in Chicago that was sick. They've been sick of people, the streets, the gangs, the kids. You know, it's sad, but it's true. Okay? So they wanted the National Guard bought in, even when Lori Lightfoot was mayor, when they started letting the immigrants come in, they were like, no, we have enough problems. We got enough problems dealing with our own people. Trump was threatening to send the people in his first election. Okay. Now, just to remind y'all, this is what the Chicago residents are saying.
Come here first. You know what? We're gonna help you. We want to for real.
Since you
We want to for real.
hold on a second, stop her time. Stop her time.
You told Trump you ain't gonna blink, but we ain't either. You want to break the law, and we're gonna run to when Trump brings that Trump card out on you.
10-year prison sentence when you want to stand up here for those illegals.
This is the portion of the meeting for public comments.
Our next speaker is Danielle Carter.
So Brandon, you and all these Democratic mayors out here and governors, y'all talking about crashing out for these illegals, right? You all sit up there and said you would not allow Trump to come in here and get these illegals. Yeah, you can smile. We're in $1 billion deficit. And you spent half of our money, half of that, on illegals. You campaigned double down. These property taxes. I'm gonna do that. You campaign went around doing that. And here we are right now. You wanted to raise all taxes $300 million. They shut it down. Now we back here for $150 million. Okay. See, this is what we asking now. Since you want to crash out, some of y'all say y'all willing to go to jail for it. Trump, Tom Homan, make a simple out this Negro right here first. Please come here first. Because you know what? We're going to help you. We want to for real.
Since you
We want to for real.
hold on a second, stop her time. Stop her time. Just a second. Just a second. Stop her time. Ma'am, I would sent you. Sent you. So, if you want to continue speaking, you have to make sure that your language is appropriate. Okay. All right. Okay. You can give her time again.
You going to go back to where I read it. You going to
I'll be darned. Hold on. Hey, Robert Keller. Good morning, Queen.
take Trump to court to protect these illegals. We said you're going to spend our tax dollars to take Trump to court to protect these illegals if they try to come in here in your district. And then you said that all of y'all in cahoots with each other to do it. Okay, so now we about to make y'all famous. We're going to let all y'all constituents know who y'all bragging for, that y'all willing to spend our tax dollars to protect illegals and to get them legal services. So that's what we're doing. That's cool because we about to make all of y'all ornaments famous. Y'all think this is how it's gonna rap? I think not.
Our next speaker this morning is Miss Lawrence.
Now let's get down to Tom Homan and 8 USC 13.
So, as you can see, at the City Hall meetings, Chicago residents have been asking for Trump to come in to help with the illegal immigration problem and the crime problem with crime and the teenagers being out of control. I'm just reporting the news. I'm just reporting what the residents of Chicago have been saying, going down there to the city hall meetings. Now, on another side, Trump has cut federal funding for programs in the community that will help teens stay out of trouble. There's no after school activities. The city of Chicago has also cut funding, but they found $70 million to help migrants, illegal and non-illegal, because they were allowing the migrants to come in without checking their records. Okay. So everybody that came over was not illegals. It was a small percentage that had, well, it's enough. It was enough for them to have records. Nobody should have a record and be allowed to come into this country. I can't go live anywhere else with the record. Matter of fact, here, I can't go to another country. They're not getting ready to let me go live there rent free, grocery free. So, Keller, why don't you come up? I was trying to call you the other day. So, the flip side, Trump has cut federal funding. The city of Chicago, along with other cities, there are no programs for teenagers. There's no programs for blue collar workers that are losing their jobs. So you're cutting programs. You're cutting programs that was put in place to help people that have issues. Everybody is not strong. Everybody is not strong. Now, the Chicago residents have been going to the city hall meetings asking for Trump to bring his people in. And it goes from the immigrants, because they mad. They mad that immigrants were put in place. Oh, I've got my next series that's coming up, Mr. Keller, and I will be talking about the 300 black women that have lost their jobs since he was elected. The topic today is Trump sending the National Guard to Chicago to help with the unaliving of people that live in Chicago. Some people can't even go to Navy Pier. They cannot go to school due to the behavior of the teens and the residents, and probably non-residents that don't live in Chicago. And so then I also have to look at, you had people that was saying, and all of this is alleged, you had people saying that they believe people were coming to Chicago to unalive black people. You also had people that said when they were seeing people that was SHOOTING shooting people, they say that they saw white arms, arms of people, and they were right. So, it's a lot involved in this. It's a lot involved. But anybody should be able to feel safe, to be able to walk their neighborhoods at night, to be able to go to a movie theater. Okay, we are in a constitutional. Hey, B. Sparrow. But like I said, the residents of Chicago have been going to the city council meetings. They have been asking for Trump to come to send these people to Chicago to help with the crime and the immigration problem. So really me, and I'm going by what my family tells me. My family live in Chicago. People get up early, they do their grocery shopping, and they try to get back home at night. Oh. Okay. A lot of people, the residents that live in Chicago, thanks B, have asked for Trump to come in. I can't argue with that. I do not live in Chicago. I live in Joliet, Illinois. I cannot argue when you have residents going to the city council meetings. I can't argue with that. And I showed you a video. Again, Keller, you said where was the National Guard when he raided the Capitol? I ain't talking about that. Everybody want to say it's a distraction from the Epstein files. What is that going to do? People want to feel safe. People can bring up whatever they want to. You know, B Sparrow, would you like to come up? Let me drop the link. See, I might have family there, and they tell me stuff. But I can't argue with people that live in Chicago. And they ask. The residents of Chicago have asked for them to send the National Guard in. Let me put the link because I think I did this. And if the National Guard does come to Chicago and they want to act like the Hatfields and McCoys, hey, that's on them. They trying to bring some order back to the streets. Yes, it is, King Peace. It really is. Chicago has been a war zone, allegedly, for years. Now, I love Chicago. All my peeps from there. Um, I'll be there this weekend. But I will tell you, driving down Stony Island, it feels like a ghost town. Chicago has a black cloud over it. You got this drill music. Dustin took over. Okay. They unaliving people. Okay. They got this crazy drill music that, Chicago artists, they're talking about unaliving people, what they done did. So people retaliating with that. Because you let somebody make a song about unaliving my family member or my son, and you see what's going to happen. So we can argue all day long. Chicago has been a war zone, even though they want to show us stats where they say crime is down 22%. Um, it's still bad. And hold on, I'm gonna put the link under the show so people can come in, because I don't know, I got the vertical. And I'm gonna show y'all some more videos. Broad daylight. You got rappers being unalive in the streets of Chicago, downtown, in broad daylight. You got album release parties, and you have people being unalived. I'll be right back. I want to share the link to the show. Give me 2 minutes. I've got to leave and then I'll come right back. I'm going to share the link in the show. Hey, Jose. Again, the Chicago residents have asked for Donald Trump to be there. I do not live in Chicago. I live in Joliet. I do have family there. But the residents of Chicago have been saying they want Trump to bring people in. I'll be right back. Okay. Um, well, Jose, the people of Chicago, his first term, they wanted when Trump was saying he would bring the National Guard in, people were saying bring them in because the unaliving was so high. And then once the migrants started coming, the residents of Chicago started going to the city hall meetings because they just thought it was too much. Uh, and you got people that are mad because the illegals, the way they have come in. They do not like Mayor Brandon Johnson, who is the Chicago mayor at the time. So you have residents, they coming for Chicago. Old Block, ain't that where what's the name? One of them rappers was from Old Block or Inglewood. See, what people have to realize is it's a safety and an immigration problem. Chicago residents asked Donald Trump to go after Mayor Brandon Johnson. So it's personal for some people. They're mad about the migrant situation and how much money has been spent on migrants So they want Trump to come in there. Um, Also, can y'all see the Chicago residents? A lot of them, Chicago flips red. So, you know, people seek their revenge in however way they can get it. So you have to understand this. The residents of Chicago do not like Mayor Brandon Johnson and what he has done with the migrant thing, with the migrant situation. My God, they the whole country, but Chicago, all of these states that let the migrants come in, take over, give them money, food, move them out, not give the residents of Chicago anything. Anything. Yeah, he said the beautiful black ladies, they asked him to come there. So that's what I say. This is what the Chicago residents, they've been asking for Trump to come in. So I got to keep my mouth shut. I can't say nothing. I live in Joliet, Illinois. I remember it was a time, baby, like I say, I would get up, we would ride to Chicago if we had a taste for a J Town, and you know, because I don't know what works. We used to drive to Maxwell Street, to J Town as we called it, for a Polish sausage. We used to ride up there to go to Lim's Barbecue. We used to go to Lawrence Fishery for shrimp, okay? But people not going now. They terrified. They terrified. The residents of Chicago have been asking for Trump to come in since Mayor Lori Lightfoot was the mayor of Chicago. Okay? We do not live in Chicago. The Chicago residents have been going to the city council meetings asking for this. So all we need to do is say, hey, this is what the citizens wanted. And now they're getting what they want. And I hope people will comply when they come to Chicago to bring the streets back to the community. People hollering racism, racism, when the citizens have been going to the city council meetings since Mayor Lori Lightfoot was the mayor. They have been concerned about their safety. They have been concerned about unaliving of people in broad daylight on the Magnificent Mile, which is a high-end shopping area. Me, I can't do nothing but say, hey, the residents have been asking for it. Now they getting their wish. I'm not gonna say racism, but I will say, you know, whatever needs to be done to keep the streets safe, it needs to be done. And so, unfortunately, they can find money for the migrants, but they cannot find money to help the residents that live in the city of Chicago that need jobs. They need cars to go to work. Some of them are battling addictions. And these are the programs that President Trump is cutting. The after school programs so the kids would have something to do. See, those come from federal funding. But the city, but the city, they will find money, money for to house migrants, but they can't find money for after school programs. They can't find money to build recreational centers, but you found millions to help migrants. So Chicago has flipped red, mostly due to the migrant situation and how Chicago treated the migrants and not the residents. They saw their homes being taken away for taxes, unpaid property taxes. They put a lot of people that was tied up in court fighting over estates. They took their property and gave to the migrants. You had people in court that never received a tax notice or a lien against their property that the city of Chicago was trying to take and has taken from the residents of Chicago so they can give the migrants this property.
But still, when you're taking things you shouldn't be taking.
Right.
There-
But let me remind y'all what is going on in Chicago. Now, when this happened, this is when this happened in 2019. Okay.
Don't you wish you could make the stress of
Hold
hosting a
on.
webinar magically disappear with wisdom?
Several breaking news stories. First, hundreds of teens running through parts of downtown fighting, disobeying police. This was the scene in Washington and Garland. You can see teens running the streets, yelling, stopping traffic, and they were not done there. A huge police presence did not deter the rowdy behavior at Millennium Park. The crowd then moved to State and Lake, where Chicago police were actually holding a press conference about tonight's chaos.
They work their butt off all night long, and they're so tolerant of these kids who are just so disrespectful, cursing at them, saying the things that they say, and we have the utmost tolerance for that.
Police say they had 200 officers on the scene, as many as 500 young people involved, and at least 30 people were arrested.
Now, these people are grown
Some
adults
stories are
now.
difficult to tell.
Okay. I mean, I'm just giving you what's out there. And now in 2025, the same thing is still going on.
And we have seen several teen takeovers turn violent downtown, and now police are on high alert as social media posts hit at another takeover. This one targeting Millennium Park tonight. Our Darius Johnson is live there now, and Darius, this comes just weeks after the last one ended in chaos.
25. This was 4 months ago.
Hey there, ladies. Good morning to you. Yeah, the last one was just a couple of weeks ago in Streeterville, and I'm sure many people remember that video. And since then, there have been several meetings spearheaded by residents who live right here in the downtown area who are honestly just fed up with these teen takeovers happening and continuing to take place. Take a look. We want to show you what that last one looked like about 2 weeks ago. This was the video from Streeterville where you can see hundreds of teens crowding the streets. The chaos led to fistfights, tasers, and even gunshots erupting. A 15-year-old was shot in the leg and taken to the hospital. And now police say they are tracking new social media buzz about a possible teen takeover in Millennium Park tonight. They are beefing up patrols, promising a strong
We have teen takeovers
in order to keep the public safe. Chicago Public Schools even sent a warning email on behalf of police, urging parents to talk to their kids and work with police. We spoke with the former chief of detectives about what's needed to prevent this continued disruption downtown as these teen takeovers show no.
These are teen takeovers that just happened, Mr. Keller, recently in years. Well, I don't want to see what the team's gonna do to the National Guards. I hope that they would learn to respect authority. Hey, young Riaz, you know, this is why the residents want the National Guard bought in, because the teens, since I showed you the video in 2019 and I showed you the video in 2025. Streeterville, downtown, Millennium Park, those are high-end areas of Chicago where the teens have just taken over. Now, I'm just bringing you the facts. Do you think if I'm paying a lot of money in property taxes and I live in what it should be the good part of town, I shouldn't be having no problems? No, we just had this,
Take a close look at your screen right now. Chicago police say this group of teenagers and young adults beat up a couple on the CTA Red Line, threatened them with a knife, used pepper spray on them, and then robbed them. The assault happened at the Harrison stop on May 7th around 11:30 at night. Police say there are at least 10 people involved, and they all range from age 15 to 25 years old.
This is why the residents want the National Guard brought in. Okay, so we can argue all day long. We do not live in Chicago. We are not looking at people being robbed daily. Y'all can say whatever y'all want to say. Okay?
I wanted a personalized weight loss plan that understood me and my goals. That's what I found with hers.
And
Hers offers.
I don't live in Chicago.
So Chicago's answer to the teen takeovers in the Streeterville neighborhood, all these kids, literally high school kids, middle school kids, are catching Ubers, they're catching rideshare into this neighborhood, and on social media they're saying, we're going to have a teen takeover, and invariably somebody gets shot or beaten up or whatever, some kind of violence happens. Well, so the Chicago aldermen, the politicians in the hood, they're just sticking around with this curfew, a teen curfew, as if a curfew is going to stop kids who are organizing their own teen takeover from coming into the area. Oh, they got a curfew? Oh, I better put my gun away and just stay home. Mom, you cooking dinner tonight? I was going to go out. Are they doing that? No, let's get into it. Here we go. Here's a little background.
So far this evening has been the kind of uneventful evening that Chicago police, peacekeepers, and people here in Streeterville had hoped for. That so-called teen takeover that had been advertised on social media to begin earlier this evening never materialized, and that may be, at least in part, because of a significant presence by Chicago police.
Significant.
Friday night, the sidewalks of Streeterville swarmed with people. We live in an area where there are restaurants and there's lots of entertainment, but we can't enter.
Cool area.
So scared. That's why there was an undeniable show of force from the Chicago Police Department, performing an afternoon roll call outside the movie theaters.
That roll call in front of the movie theater. I love it. All right, guys, get out there, make that presence known. Those little teen kiddies running around, gonna do their little teen takeover and just wreak havoc. Stand out there and do roll call.
Block along East Illinois to establish a clear presence after large gatherings of young people in recent weeks have turned violent. A teenager, one of them.
I think
shocker.
Less safe just because it was an overwhelming amount of policemen. So that definitely tells you something's not normal. They're here because
this video is 2 months old.
Teen takeover is a threat. Period.
Well,
we have ridiculous, not teen takeovers, but we have sideshows here in Seattle that you're just, just a bunch of criminals running around. Let's drive my car real fast in a circle and we'll see what happens.
What's called geofencing around this small section of Streeterville.
Look at that.
Friday, after Chicago police say they learned groups of young people were taking ride shares to the so-called teen takeover locations. It prevents drivers from dropping off or picking up. Rideshare scooters effectively come to a screep.
So instead of working with the parents, instead of, if you F around and find out, go to jail for criminal activity, let's put a geocode fence around this block that'll prevent them from coming in. Let's give them a curfew. Jimmy, you can't go out tonight because there's a curfew. I mean, what are we even doing here? Does this make any sense?
I don't know about you, but if I was part of a teen takeover as a teenager and my parents found out, it would not have been good. Let's just put it that way. There would have been some hell to pay. Honestly, that's just the way this works. Where are all these parents of these kids? Where are all their parents? Are they working? It's nighttime. It's whatever. Because we're talking about curfew at night. What's going on there? Where's the accountability? Where's the responsibility? Where's the discipline? Where's the discipline? There is none. Just let these kids go. And then you wonder why they end up in prison later down the road, right? Oh, I didn't know that was going to happen.
The perimeter. Chicago's former emergency management director says the tactic has proven helpful.
If you make it a little bit more challenging for these kids, then hopefully they'll find something else that's more constructive.
Now, you can say whatever you want to say. Okay. But this is what the residents have been asking for. So I have to go along with the residents that live in Chicago. No, there will never be zero crime. There's always going to be good and bad. There's always going to be criminals. But not at the rate of what has been going on with these teen takeovers. I blame a lot of it in Chicago due to drill music. I blame a lot of it. Well, I don't know who to blame. I can say some of the parents that don't talk to their kids. But you know, your kid's going to do whatever they want to do. Kids are going to go through their phases of life where they're not listening to anybody, okay? A lot of parents have been good to their kids. And they do not deserve the way their children have turned out to be. They don't, a lot of these kids come from 2-parent homes and they still know this is bad. But we know as we were teenagers, we did some stuff that we shouldn't do. And they have just upped the ante. They've upped the ante. They've upped the ante now. The new teenagers have upped the ante. Where now it's terrorizing residents, taking over streets. And this ain't good. These teenagers that was teenagers in 2019, Lord have mercy, I hope they have found jobs. But some of them are still doing the same type of behavior. And again, the term kids are going to be kids. That's the way they are. This is a new era of teenagers, of young adults. And unfortunately, they're not scared of nothing. Nothing. See, we were scared. When we were coming up, we did our little stuff. We were scared. Then when our parents found out, you got dragged down from the neighbors to the family members to the parents. It was repercussions for our bad behavior. And then some of us, we saw our parents, our mothers crying, and we never wanted to do bad again. But unfortunately, that's not the type of kids we're dealing with now. I don't even know, even if they had after school programs, what can keep these kids' minds focused. Social media has done a lot. Also, the whole system people are fed up with. I'm just bringing the news. I'm just, you know, stating my opinion. Um, you can talk to the kids. They've been doing these takeovers for a while. These kids have turned into adults. Uh, and a lot of this stuff has been going on when Trump was not in office. Don't get mad at me. I'm just a lady bringing the news, bringing the stats. I'm just showing what's really going on in Chicago. This is what we had a few months ago.
We've been working on spot on for
this was
sales year over year, day to day, week to week, month to month.
Continuing to follow that breaking news at this hour of a mass shooting in Chicago. 18 people shot overall. 4 of them were killed, and all of the victims in their 20s and 30s.
City leaders tell us someone drove by firing shots at people leaving a rapper's album release party. We have team coverage for you this morning. Darius Johnson live at that scene in River North, and I'm Marissa Perlman at Northwestern Memorial Hospital, where some of the people shot were taken. But we want to begin with Darius. Darius, do you have any updates at this point?
I'm just a lady just bringing the news. I'm just a person that's bringing the news. And these people, they are going into all neighborhoods. All neighborhoods. But let me tell you something. When you start going into them neighborhoods where they're supposed to be exclusive neighborhoods and people should feel safe and they don't anymore, oh, you done really started a war. That's why the National Guard will be coming to Chicago. Okay? As long as it was in other neighborhoods, it was okay. Again, They've reached the exclusive areas and they won't leave. They won't stop. They have taken over the high-end streets of Chicago, Illinois, where people are paying good tax dollars, good property taxes, and they don't feel safe. I repeat, this is why the National Guard is being brought into the city of Chicago. This is April Showers. I don't know what the National Guard can do that the police can do. So, again, crime has risen in the high-end areas of Chicago. And this is what have these residents upset. And this is why the National Guard will be coming to Chicago. This is April Showers. Thank you for joining me this morning for this show. I don't live in Chicago. I go to Chicago. I have family that lives up there. I myself can witness Chicago. It's not the same. It's like it has a dark cloud over it. Let's bring some life back to Chicago. A lot of people will say, well, they've taken away the programs. They've taken away this. I don't know. I don't know. But all I do know is once you start messing with people that are paying the most in property taxes, they want to feel safe. And this is why the National Guard will be coming to the city of Chicago. This is April Showers. I thank y'all so much for joining me in this live. My next live, I will be talking about the Black women that have been fired since President-elect Donald Trump has taken office. Thank you, everybody, for joining me this beautiful, fine Monday morning. Cello, good morning, everybody. Have a great day. Also, carry your mace and the switchblade with you. Peace out.